Let's update the firmware for the Mobilinkd TNC 4 today using Linux.
Stick around and we'll get right to it.
Real quick, before we get going, I've got to give a shout out to these guys. They're my latest patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to Patreon down in the description below. Hey, welcome back, guys. Jason, KM4ACK. I've got to admit, as much as I hate to, that I am not the best at keeping firmwares up to date. Often, manufacturers will want to require Windows in order to update the firmware. Some of them are getting better, though, and Mobilinkd can definitely be updated with Linux. So today, we're going to take a look at that. I'm running Linux Mint 22.1, and the Mobilinkd that we're going to be updating is the TNC 4. This should work pretty much exactly the same with the TNC 3. The 1 and 2 might be different, though. You'll need to check the instructions before you attempt to do it with the TNC version 2. I only ran into one little gotcha while I was doing this, and we're going to cover it so it doesn't bite you as well. Let's go ahead and jump over to the computer and get this going. All right, so there's a couple of things we need to download before we get started. The first one is going to be at mobilinkd.com/downloads. And guys, I'll leave links to everything down in the description below. When you get to this page, you're going to start scrolling down this page until we find there's the TNC3. We're specifically looking for the TNC4. You'll find this file right here that ends in .elf, and that's the one we need to download. So go ahead and click on that and download it. The next thing we need to do is get the STM32 program installed. We'll come over to this web page here. This is a pretty lengthy web page here, or URL rather. It starts with st.com, and I'll leave a link to this down in the description below as well. When you get to this page, we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and you'll find this Get Software section. Now, what you want to do for Linux specifically, and guys, I'm running Linux Mint 22.1. You'll want to find the edition that is for Linux and click Get the Latest. Now, it's either going to ask you for an account or you can download it as a guest. Even as a guest, you're going to have to give it a name and an email address, and then it will email you the download link. Once you get that email, go ahead and download that to your downloads folder. Now, let's pull up my downloads folder real quick. And you'll see that I have that first file, the ELF, right here. And then I've got this EN STM32 Cube Programming version 219.0.zip. You'll need to right-click on that and extract here. When you do that, you should get another directory that looks like this. And it's the same name, but it's a standard folder, or a standard directory rather, and not a zip file. Go ahead and double click on it. You're going to see a couple of different files in here. The exe is for Windows. We don't want that. This one is for Linux. And all I had to do with this was just double click, and it started right up and installed without any issues whatsoever. So now that we've got that installed, let's go ahead, and what we want to do first is we're going to take the TNC. It's already connected to my computer. Let's go ahead and turn that on though, and make sure that we get the breathing blue light. We do, and the red light indicates that it's charging or it's getting power from the computer. Over in the terminal window, before I do anything else, I do want to verify that this has connected to the Linux desktop. So let's go ahead and run ls /dev/serial/by-id, and indeed you'll see that it is connected right here. So the next thing that we need to do is get this device into DFU mode. So what we want to do is go ahead and use some sort of pointy object, and we're going to press the button inside this hole here. This is the one that puts it into DFU mode. Let's see if I can find that little button. Sometimes I have trouble finding it. Right now we've still got the breathing blue light that's going to come up periodically. That will extinguish once I have pressed this button. And I think I got it right there. All right, now you'll notice that there is no more breathing blue light. Also, back in the terminal, if we run that ls command again, you'll see that we don't have any devices that's detectable. Now, I ran into an issue, a permissions issue, because I tried to start the programming software right from the shortcut in the menu system. Unfortunately, I can't do that. What we need to do is we need to start that program with sudo. So we're going to come over to this directory right here. That's st microelectronics / stm32 cube / stm32 cube programmer / bin. Go ahead and move into that directory, and if we list that out, you're going to see a whole lot of different programs that we can run. But the one we're looking for specifically is this one right here. So we'll go ahead and start that with sudo space dot / and then that file name. Let's go ahead and press return. And it takes this thing a couple of seconds to open up. You may get a few errors here. I didn't have to worry about that. That really wasn't an issue. But you'll see trackeddata.json file does not exist. Well, that's probably a good thing. I don't need anybody tracking me anyway. All right, so now we are inside the Cube Programmer application. The first thing we need to do is we need to change this blue button right here from UART to USB. You should see USB 1 right here at this point. If you don't, you can click the refresh button right beside it. If you don't see this USB 1, then your device is either not in DFU mode, or you might want to double check your USB cable. But typically, if we saw it when we ran that LSDev serial by ID, then you're good to go. I do have the USB 1 right here. Let's go ahead and click connect. And you will see it pull in quite a bit of data right here. So the next thing we need to do is click this icon right over here on the left that is an arrow pointing down. That's going to bring us into this box right here, this Erase and Programming dialog box. Right here for the file path, we're going to click Browse, and we're going to go find the ELF file that we downloaded earlier. So we'll go over here, click on your file system right here, and then we're going to navigate to the Downloads directory. So we'll go into our home directory, and then my call sign, because that's the username of this particular Linux laptop, and then we just need to go ahead and move to the Downloads directory. Once we're in here, you'll see that TNC4 ELF file. Let's go ahead and highlight that and then select Open. Once we've got that selected, let's go ahead and choose Verify Programming and Run After Programming. Once we've got that, we can go ahead and click Start Programming. Now, we get several different messages on the screen. We get File Download Complete, Verified Successful, and Start Operation Archived Successfully. And then we get this warning that the connection has been lost. That's exactly what we expect to see. Our TNC should be returned to normal mode. So I'm just going to leave this right here just like it is, and let's see if we got the latest firmware on our TNC. Using my mobile phone, I'm going to open up the Mobilinkd TNC app and choose Connect. It's going to ask me which device I want to connect to. It's the TNC4. And you'll notice right up at the top that the firmware version now reads 2.5.14, which is the latest firmware that we just downloaded and flashed to the Mobilinkd TNC. And that's it, guys. I've got to give a big shout out to Mobilinkd for making this as easy as possible on a Linux Mint machine. If you found today's information helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up before you head off. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then, 7-3.